What up? What up? 1 minute. Da. All right, there we go. And of course, this is on an ad. I had everything set up beforehand, and then I messed everything up. There you go. That's Monday for you. Got an ad stuck here. Ad removed. All right, well, still getting an ad on Fiat Leak. There we go. Ooh. Why am I so small? There we go. Yeesh, that's good. That screen is all messed up. All right, cool. Happy Monday, everyone. We have the live set up now. Almost. Finally got some positive price action coming in, which is great to see. I'm not exactly sure what the cause of this price action is. The entire market's reacting pretty positively. I think it might be off the news that we have a Japanese trade deal coming in. This is one of the things I've talked about briefly, is just the fact that if we start to have a lot of trade deals coming in, the market's likely going to react very positively to that. But we got everything locked and loaded now. So we are good to go. Getting my other computer ready on X. Get a good look at the XRP price chart here. As we can see, XRP moving towards that zone we kind of have to get to here, which is to actually push up and make that higher high. So we've held $2 really well. That's an extremely positive sign. And it seems like now we're trying to get that momentum to actually push upwards. To me, things look pretty good on this front. Honestly, they could be a lot worse considering that recent crash we went to, but we're really holding that pretty nicely. Let me take a look at the comments real quick. Roger, good to see you. Linda, good to see you. Hulse Balls, good to see you. Dave Nelson, Defin, Dennis, Linda, good to see you. The final dip? Yeah, it seems like we're getting close to one of these being the final one. Stone, thanks for stopping by, man. Good to see you, brother. Missed approach. Let me just check something real quick. Okay, that works. GB from Thailand. Welcome. I've always wanted to go to Thailand. Volume is low. Yeah, well, we just had a lot of people selling for tax reasons and stuff like that. It seems like a lot of people have been waiting a bit to see how these trade deals were going to wind up. So I think a lot of people were just kind of sitting on the sidelines, waiting for these different things to take place. No more dips. Let's go. I hope. Well, we're always going to have dips, right? But hopefully no more dips at this current level. One of the things I've talked about that we really are waiting to see XRP do is just break this kind of bottoming range we've seen, which would really just be to get above. I mean, realistically, anywhere up here would be great. That would kind of get us out of that previous downtrend and make it so we really had a good reversal coming in. Like if we could trade here at that $2.40 region, that would be a very, very good looking chart for a reversal. So that's really where we're trying to get to. Technically where we are right now, you could still make the case that we're stuck sort of under this descending resistance. So we really, it looks like we actually poked that this morning. This is kind of what I'm watching right now. Kind of a critical zone on whether or not we can break up against this resistance that's been pushing us down. This is what we've had a hard time with. We came up this morning, we touched it, and we got shot back down. Now it seems like we're holding generally pretty strong, but that seems to be the big level right now. Love it when the news is put to the side and the chart is all that matters. Well, news helps the chart, right? There's no doubt that the news helps the chart, but you're right. I mean, to a certain degree, right now, we're kind of at a moment where the chart's got to figure out what comes next. Deep freeze. Yeah, deep freeze is coming, which is going to be an important upgrade for financial institutions to the ledger. Now, a lot of people are talking about deep freeze and are very excited about it. To be honest, I'm not overly excited about deep freeze. In my opinion, it's kind of just a fix to the freeze amendment that we already have. So I don't think the deep freeze amendment is really something that I'm overly excited about, but certainly exciting. Micah says, without getting too woo-woo, the Riddler said that things would go bananas after the Pope dies. Just died. Rip JB. Okay, I didn't know about any of that, but it will certainly be something to track. Like I said, for me, the big thing is breaking above this level right here. I mean, as you guys can tell, this has just been pushing us down and pushing us down and pushing us down. So that's the real line, in my opinion, that needs to be broken. And by the way, thank you so much for that donation. Very much appreciate that. So that's the level like I'm really watching right now. Because what we don't want to happen is we really don't want to see this get a big rejection and pull back down here, right? That's like the worst thing that we could see. So we really want to see some strength come in and see if we can get a breakout to the upside. Seven Dennis says, I hate Coinbase. Yeah, a lot of people hate Coinbase. Well, I personally think things will actually pump before regulation, because there's going to be a certain point, because Congress works so slow. There's going to become a point where it's so obvious regulation is coming that people will front run that regulation. So I think we're kind of already at that stage, but we're going to get to a point where regulation is so obvious that it's going to be, the market's going to start factoring it in. So I don't think regulation actually needs to happen, right? If people already know and it's a done deal that all the parties are going to go a certain way and the regulations already have been proposed and it's about to pass, like then the market's going to start pricing that in. So the regulation is coming and eventually the market's going to say, you know, we're close enough where we think this is going to pass and it's going to start pricing that in accordingly. Monday the 21st, we are getting X payments teas, which will fall into faster payments category. Yeah, we're certainly going to have X payments. Now, I don't personally think that's going to involve the XRP ledger, but could be wrong. I think X payments will just be a centralized database. I don't think it will have anything to do with blockchain technology. Now, you might see developers integrate the XRP ledger into X to allow people to pay each other with XRP, but I don't personally think X is going to do it natively. We'll see if I'm right or see if I'm wrong there, but I don't think the X app will be like running on XRP. I know some people have put stuff like that out there. It doesn't really make sense to me why they would do that. XRP next up for ETF. Yeah, it seems like the XRP ETFs are going to come before a lot of the other ETFs as well, which is very exciting. And I talked about this in a bit of in my video last night. But one of the things that not a lot of people are really aware of is how financial professionals are allocating to crypto. There's really no thought process when they're picking between these different technologies. They're simply picking Ethereum because it's the second biggest. DAI hinted at what specifically? Yes, I do work with Jake. Can you tell the relevance of the Golden Cross? Huh. In my opinion, there's not a whole lot of relevance to the Golden Cross. Like a lot of technical analysis you need to realize is like the Golden Cross is just when the Golden Cross is essentially when you have one moving average that's coming down, you have another moving average that's coming up, and they cross. And essentially, if this one has more momentum, it's just pretty much saying the momentum is going to go to the upside. So in my opinion, there's not a lot of relevance to a Golden Cross. It just essentially means in layman's terms that the momentum is now going to the upside and switching when before the momentum was going to the downside. Crypto Clay, good to see you guys. Make sure to smash the like button. Really appreciate that. Yeah, I do think you'll see XRP payments on X, but I don't think X payments is going to run on the XRP ledger. So I think developers will integrate the XRP ledger to X and allow that to happen. But I don't think it's going to be like a default choice. That's just not really Elon Musk's style. I remember when Elon Musk was first talking about X payments, he was pretty much just saying like, look, we're just going to do this in a centralized server. So his ideas could have changed on that, but it didn't seem like he was really ever leaning towards using any blockchain technology to underpin X. I remember actually, interestingly enough, Sam Bankman-Fried was trying to get him to build all of X on Solana, and Elon's like, I'm not doing that. XRP derivatives on Coinbase. Yep, that's exciting. I would say the thing about derivatives is like, it's a good institutional adoption piece, but at the same time, I don't think it's necessarily good or bad. It creates a lot of paper XRP, and a lot of that financialization is what a lot of people complain about with things like gold, where it's manipulated and the derivatives and all that stuff. So something to compare. Let's see what else we got in the news. What was XRP derivatives on Coinbase? Okay, yep. Elon sniffed out Sam Bankman-Fried from the jump. His story on that is brutal. Yeah, I wonder if I can find that. Elon was not having it with Sam Bankman-Fried. I think I have it here actually. This is a great clip for everyone who hasn't seen it. This shows you the IQ of someone like Elon Musk, because a lot of people fell for Sam Bankman-Fried. So this is a good one.
Any details you could share about the SBF Twitter partnership, how that went down, anything that's reported, so on? What was that like? Well, there really wasn't any huge Twitter partnership. I've never heard of it. Then like a ton of people were telling me about huge amounts of money that he wants to invest in Twitter deal, and I talked to him for about half an hour, and my bullshit meter was redlining, so I was like, this dude bullshit. That was my impression. And
You guys can't hear? Of course you can't. Let me test. Oh yeah, of course. Well, that's Monday for you. Let me try something real quick. That's classic Monday right here.
Twitter partnership.
All right, I'm gonna have to get creative on this, unfortunately. Give me 2 seconds here. I'll get it up. Looks like my computer randomly has no interest in playing that volume. So there you go. One of the fun parts about live streaming, you never know if the live stream is going to cooperate or not. All right. Let's see if this works.
Anything misreported, so on. What was that like? Well, there really wasn't any SB Twitter partnership. To be honest, I've never heard of him. But then, like a ton of people were telling me he's got, huge amounts of money that he wants to invest in Twitter deal, and I talked to him for about half an hour, and I know my bullshit meter was redlining, so I was like, this dude is full of shit. That was my impression, and so then I was like, but everyone, including major investment banks and everyone, were saying, we're talking about him like he's walking on water and has $1 zillion, and I'm like, that's not my impression. And my prediction to the investment banks, which some of it is in you've seen on text because it was in a court case, was that that dude is just something wrong, and he does not have capital, and he will not come through. That was my prediction, and that is definitely what happened. So I don't know. Yeah.
Good.
E-
I have a question
Elon,
here.
as somebody who's dealt with so much controversy and bad news and stuff like that, through your whole career, what should the crypto community like? What's the way to pivot and rebuild from this? How do we project ourselves through this? Like, what would you recommend anyway?
Well,
So that's kind of the most important part there. It's just interesting to see that someone like Elon Musk was able to sniff out Sam Bankman-Fried so quickly. Obviously, he talks about his BS meter going off the chart, which I think is funny. Just goes to show Elon was a little quicker than some other people in the industry around that. Sorry about the issues with that. I mean, my live stream's just all kinds of messed up right now. So that's what I'll spend time fixing tonight. But yeah, no, Elon was very quick to really call out the fact that not a lot of people, in his opinion, were, I don't know what you want to say, doing any real DD on Sam Bankman-Fried. And I'm sure Elon felt a lot of people kind of got sucked into that without really thinking things through, which I generally agree. I never had the opportunity to meet with FTX. I was always suspect of FTX just because for me, I saw a lot of the people that they were working with and who was promoting FTX, and it was like non-crypto people. And I was like pretty confused why like all these non-crypto people were getting paid by FTX. And I also didn't really understand where FTX came from. It was weird in its own right that suddenly this company FTX that no one has ever heard of was so big. So I was always a pretty confused by FTX. So I never really got near it. But knowing what I know now, I'm really confused how so many people met with the founders of FTX and didn't have like immediate red flags. I mean, that might have been sorry, that might have been the reason why FTX did go after non-crypto people. Maybe they thought the crypto people would see right through it too quickly and say, hey, this is kind of weird that you have billions of dollars and no board of directors. It's like you said about how big companies just go off the number one and number two. They just go blindly. Looks like they did the same with Sam. Yeah, that's a great point. It's a great point. Yeah, a lot of these companies just went in blind. They didn't know enough about cryptocurrency to really make any kind of evaluation of who FTX was and who Sam Bankman-Fried was. And that came back to bite them big time. The only good thing about FTX, and I'm sure there was people involved, and I feel terrible for anyone involved, was that it really wasn't a lot of retail people. It was a lot of institutions. It wasn't as bad, in my opinion, as Voyager and Celsius, which had a lot of people wrapped into those. Those were significantly worse when it came down to people getting harmed by it. But FTX, it seemed like they were they had like a lot of big people they were working with, but a lot of them really weren't retail people. No, TK, there's no way Tom Brady and Shaq knew that FTX was a scam. There's no way. I mean, I'm sure Tom Brady and Shaq didn't know a single thing about FTX, which you can raise an argument that they should know the things they're talking about, which I would generally agree. They should know the things you're talking about. But the idea that they had any way of knowing anything about FTX, I don't think so, man. I think a lot of these people just got wrapped up into the wrong thing at the wrong time. and it's unfortunate, but I don't think people like Tom Brady really knew much of what was going on at all when it came down to FTX. I really don't. It makes no sense. Like they don't want to get caught up in this. Like it's probably been a massive headache for them. Adkins should be confirmed this week. I don't personally think there'll be a big change when Adkins gets confirmed. Maybe you'll see the Ripple SEC case voted on and ended, but I've been saying for a while, I mean, I'm almost like completely like checked out when it comes to the Ripple SEC case. It's over. There's nothing else interesting gonna happen. If something interesting does happen, the only thing I think that could be is if Ripple pays the fine in XRP, but I don't really know of anything else left that's of any importance in this case. I mean, let's see. Is there anything else interesting going on that I'm missing out on right now? Let me know. What do you think will happen if reported that the SEC was paid in XRP? I mean, not really much of anything, in my opinion. I mean, in order for that to actually be really bullish, in my opinion, you would really want to see some kind of reason why they were getting paid in XRP. Like the United States government saying, hey, we want to hold that XRP. And if you did see something like that, that'd be bullish. But like other than that, I mean, I don't know. I don't think just the SEC getting paid with XRP is really going to cause any kind of huge movement. Thank you, Montana. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's always interesting whenever there's no news. Like, it's fun to do a little bit more of a free form video, you know, kind of just talk about something on my mind. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. Triple, good to see you. Good morning. That's an interesting question. Would I buy Bitcoin at $2.40? I don't know. It depends why Bitcoin is trading for $2.40. If the code was broken, I don't know. Depends on how fixable it was. Mike Meltz, good to see you. There was that announcement recently about Hidden Road and running all trades through the XRP ledger. Honestly, that's really exciting. I don't know if every single trade will be run through the XRP ledger or only certain trades. I think that's yet to be seen, but the idea that the XRP ledger really is being pushed as a back-end settlement tool, that in itself is obviously very exciting. And Hidden Road is going to be a game changer in the space. Oh yeah, Jay Clayton is back. I forgot about that one. Yep, Trump taps Jay Clayton to come in as some Manhattan district attorney or something like that. I don't think it really makes a big difference, to be honest with you guys. Jay lost his case. He saw everything unwind. He saw the outcry that came up. I don't think Jay is going to be stepping anywhere near another controversial cryptocurrency thing like this. Hidden Road clears a ton of BlackRock transactions. I would not be surprised about that. Would not be surprised about that at all. So that is a very interesting connection between Ripple, XRP, BlackRock through Hidden Road. And I'm just surprised we haven't seen the BlackRock XRP ETF yet. That one might be one of those catalysts that causes the market to really take off. I have heard a lot of reporting that there is going to be a BlackRock XRP ETF. And I'd be surprised if they don't get it out pretty soon, because I think they're starting to become at risk if they don't get it out in the next month or two of the XRP ETFs going live and BlackRock not making it into the batch. Doesn't make any sense why, and I think BlackRock does have an Ethereum ETF. It makes absolutely no sense to have an Ethereum ETF and not an XRP ETF. Defin says we need deep freeze credentials and permission domains. That will give a lot of institutional adoption. Yeah, I mean, right now, Ripple's working with the financial institutions and figuring out what they need to see on the XRP ledger. So you're going to see a lot of what Ripple is pushing because of the people they're working with. Just common sense. Yeah, I mean, I would assume we're going to see a BlackRock XRP ETF, but to be honest, I would have thought we would have already seen it. I think we're going to get one. I'm pretty confident of it, but you know, this market never ceases to surprise me. And it would be funny if BlackRock kind of sat it out, then saw all the volume coming in, and then very quickly said, "Oh no, we made a mistake here." The other interesting thing about the XRP ETF is it's coming in a lot quicker than the Solana ETFs. There's a lot more XRP ETFs, and that makes it even more important for BlackRock to step in there, because it's not even like, oh, well, there's just a couple and we kind of have some more time here. It's more of like, hey, like we're really missing out here. And I would be shocked if BlackRock let themselves miss out on that. I mean, it's too easy of a business for BlackRock. It's like, just launch the ETF and let people funnel in. Hold on, just checking something real quick. See what else do we got? What about the tech? Doesn't the so-called fake BlackRock filings still stand. I have no idea where the fake filing is for like BlackRock. I don't like, was it fake? Was it not fake? I have no idea. Really don't have much information on that. Could have been real, could have not been real. I don't have much of a thought on that right now. To be honest, that's like just a lot of speculation. Any news or breakouts coming? Well, I mean, XRP is sitting in the place right now where we would see a breakout if there was going to be one. It's got to get above this descending resistance, and until it does, that's where the decision is going to be made. We've gotten rejected here a couple times. This is the zone XRP's got to make a decision on. It's either going to break out of here and push higher, or it's going to break lower. But this is kind of that decision-making zone where XRP's got to make the choice. XXQXX, thank you so much for the donation. Any event that will happen today? I don't know of any events that are happening today. I mean, Klaus Schwab resigned with effective immediately from the WEF. Okay, well, that's an event happening today. I don't think it'll have anything to do with XRP, but it's an event. Check DM. Michael Saylor buying Bitcoin. Michael Saylor buying Bitcoin, Tether minting. Interesting, but you know, Michael Saylor's just gonna keep buying Bitcoin. It doesn't really surprise me. I don't think Coinbase derivatives are gonna do. I don't think that's much of a game changer for the price, to be honest. The spot is more important, and right now we're just lacking a lot of spot volume. The markets have just been pretty boring. Like we've been talking about, it's just a lot of the trade news, trade deal kind of stuff. That's really slowing things down. Everyone's waiting for trade deals. They don't want to get in the market until the trade deals are confirmed. So it's just a lot of people waiting. And we have low volatility until we actually get some certainty on what that next leg is going to be. But I mean, the market is just clearly only focused on those trade deals. And until something happens there, it just doesn't seem like there's a whole lot to focus on. The biggest thing, in my opinion, is where XRP sits on the price chart. Like outside of any kind of big news catalyst, like this is the zone where we're gonna have to have a decision here pretty soon. We're really to the end of this thing, and it's been a while since XRP formed one of these triangles. The last couple have broken out to the upside, but this is do or die time. This is when we find out. So I'd assume we're probably going to have an answer to this in the next week or so. And we're just waiting to see which direction it is. But it's hard for me to see that XRP would not have some big volatility coming in. Now, I think everyone knows why I think it's going to be to the upside, but we'll we'll see. Linda, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Linda said, everyone donate $5 to Mickle just because. Let's go. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate that a lot. You've been here a long time, big supporter of the channel. So really appreciate you doing that. You guys are So generous, and I really appreciate that. What price do we need to see break? For me, look, I don't do much on like, hey, what price do we need to see break? Roger, thank you. Appreciate that. For me, it's not so much on the price breaking a certain level. It's just when we get that candle like upward. That's how you'll know. Like when it breaks out of there, you'll know. There won't be any confusion. I do think BlackRock will file an XRP ETF. I highly doubt they're going to sit on the sidelines. STM, guys, thank you so much. STM Surge, thank you. I appreciate that. You guys are too incredible. Roger, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. ETF is just pocket money. Utility and adoption is bigger. XRP Sherman, yeah, I do have a monthly subscription. I will be doing kind of member-only lives again at some point in the future, at least member-only chat. It's just with a lot of the market kind of died down recently, it's pretty easy for me to read all the comments. I typically spin over to members only when the chat starts ripping again, and we'll get to that point. We're just in a little bit of I don't know, a not so exciting time in the cryptocurrency market, and things die down. 7 Dennis, thank you so much. You guys are thank you. Appreciate that so much. Did you see the Paul Barron interview with Proppy mentioning XRP backed by real estate purchases? Silver Days, thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not overly like that excited about Proppy at the moment. I'll tell you why. I just don't see a lot of big financial firms outsourcing or losing market share. I think the big moment is going to be when someone like Zillow integrates with blockchain technology. So maybe Proppy will be the disruptor. I don't know, but it's a kind of a tough it's a tough thing to square, because when you're trying to disrupt an entire marketplace, it's very difficult. Getting people to list their house on the XRP ledger, getting people to purchase on the XRP ledger, those are all very difficult things to do. Crypto Clay, thank you so much. Love you, Crypto Clay. So there's just a lot of different things that need to happen. Oh, this is too funny. Oh, look at this, guys. Oh, this just came across my feed. Oh, this is funny. Take a look at this. Oh, man. I don't know who made this, but that's hilarious. Let me give that a retweet and a like. That's hilarious. Little Mickle action figure. Whoops, I don't need 2 of me here. All right, guys, with that said, we'll end it on that. Guys, thank you guys so much for coming. Still a little bit of a lack of a news time period, so we'll end it early for now. I do have to say, and thank you so much, Norbert. Appreciate that. I do have to say, I think Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, unfortunately, no live streams those days. I got some traveling. We'll be back live again tomorrow, so apologize for that. Over the next couple months, I've got a decent amount of weeks carved out for travel, but you know, as soon as there's an opportunity to be back, I'll be doing it. Guys, thank you so much for coming. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Divine, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Guys, I'll talk